What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So 3v3 is about to start up again, and I wanted to show you guys how I'm breaking down my teams for offense and defense this round, and then also show you guys a great resource for ideas for teams, counters, all that kind of stuff to make sure that you're getting those wins this GAC season. So let's hop over and get started. But before we do, if this is your first time to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button for some more Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes videos in the future. All right, let's hop over. I'll show you guys how I'm breaking down my squad. So this is going to be primarily a defensive squad. This one has been out there for quite a while, but the shocks, being able to stun Malik, this is just a solid team. Throw in EP with Vassalashawn Fallen and Malik. You're gonna get a lot of turn meter from this. One of the harder teams to get through in 3v3 defense, and it does call for a really strong counter to make sure that they can get through this. So if you got this lineup, I definitely recommend throwing this one on defense. On front line, it's going to be a tough one for your opponents to get through. From looking at counters on this one, a lot of people are using GLs to get through this lineup. So this one is a tough one for sure. For my leftover Sith Empire, I'm going with Darth Revan, with Sith Empire Trooper, and with HK. I think this will be a good offensive team for me to get some wins. Got that pre-taunt going, and then a lot of damage coming out from Darth Revan and HK. This next one, Padme Anakin and Gk, is a solid defense team as well. It can get you some good wins on offense too. But this one is a tough one for people to get through. You've got a wall of a tank in General Kenobi, and then a lot of defense, or a lot of offense coming out from Anakin. Also a lot of protection up that you'll be getting those stacks, so you can get a lot of offense out of all of them with the Padme lead. Now, as far as my Jedi, the way I'm breaking them down, I like to try to split them up when I can. If I need a strong offense team, obviously I'm going to throw Yoda up here with JKR, but splitting them up into two different teams seems to work out quite well for me in 3v3, especially underneath the Vassalashawn. I can really wrap up Yoda and get some wins. Also throw in Old Ben there for a pre-taunt, which has been really helpful for me in the past on offense. Both of these teams mainly I use for offense. Now, Vassalashawn is a really solid defensive lead too, so you can come up with a lot of ideas for her to throw down on defense. Is a really tough one to get to. All that protection up that she puts out is tough for a lot of teams to get to. Might be something you could really surprise somebody on the back wall with, and just be something that they can't get through, because if they don't get through and take out characters, the next time they go in, all that protection up is right back there in their face. Now for Vader, a lot of times I just go in solos for him. I do have Piet. I'll probably will use Piet in those encounters where I need to have just a really solid ramp up with Vader. And then also, you know, it's always nice to have a pre-taunt, so sometimes Mott will use Shore Trooper in that lineup too, just to have a pre-taunt to keep damage off of Vader. And my Piet is a little low, so I want to make sure that he is protected. Now this team right here worked out really well for me last go around. Thrawn lead with Tarkin and Shore Trooper was just kind of insane, the amount of turns that I could keep taking with Thrawn lead, pushing back turn meter with Tarkin, and then I was just able to keep taunt up and keep healing with Shore Trooper really well last go around. So this was just a solid surprise team that I came up with, and really was max banner teams going against probably mid-level squads. Took out a lot of bounty hunters with this team. It's just been a solid one. Now for my Shakti Clones, this is kind of how I'm breaking them down. Throwing Shock with ARC Trooper and with Echo, more of an offensive minded team here. Now this team right here did really well for me on defense with Rex lead, 5s, and then throwing my leftover Ahsoka from my Padme lineup in here was really good. It didn't get a ton of wins, but it did take a ton of banners, because a lot of times Rex was getting to Rex late and was taking out at least one character, so it really kind of hampered the other team. Highly recommend this one for defense. Was really solid one for me in the past. And then offensive team right here, everybody knows the CLS trio, solid team for offense. And then unfortunately in 3v3, Nestus doesn't get to shine as much as what she does in 5v5 with those big solos, getting high banners. A lot of times you still get decent banners out of her, and it's nice to be able to get a win, but doesn't shine as much in 3v3 as she does in 5v5. It might be some things I'll look into as far as just finding some ways to maybe set her on defense more for 3v3 instead of using her as an offensive character. Now, this is how I'm going to set up some of my normal defensive teams. Bugs, I'm throwing GBA, Spy, and Soldier together. I think that's a good one. This is a new one that I've come up with. I'm working on Dooku for Sith Eternal Emperor and really kind of gearing him up, getting his star level up. But I like throwing in this tank and then also Jango here because he's going to have the immunity. He's going to have his payout with a Separatist leader. Going into this, and then Dooku's going to be able to hide behind Sunfac. So I think that one might be a decent one. Hopefully get some stuns out there, get some burns, at least be some banner sniping going on with this team, and hopefully we'll call for a decent counter from my opponent. Now, for Night Sisters, there's a ton of ways to break them down. I'll show you guys over on swgoh.gg a lot of just different ways that you can break them down. This is the way that I like to go, just because it throws my better Night Sisters in one team, and then kind of my okay Night Sisters in this next one. Do have some heals going on with Asajj, and then a potential double stun action going with Night Sister Spirit and with Asajj Ventress here. And this one right here is more about protecting, getting some stuns out with Daka, but then also making sure that you get a lot of plagues out with Mother Talzin here. So I think that's a pretty good lineup. Now for my bounty hunters, I do have Grief and Mando. I've been working on them. Haven't been able to throw a bunch of gear on them since I'm going after Sith Eternal Emperor, but I think this will be a decent lineup with Boss, because you have Bosca's kind of mass attack. Same thing with Grief. Hopefully they will actually get to a to their payout, which is one of the things that bounty hunters kind of struggle with in GAC and 3v3 is just hitting that payout, because there's just less opportunity for a lot of the leaders to get to their payout. So I'm hoping this works okay. And then for my my Karth lineup, I'm going with Mission, Zalabar, Karth. I think this will be an okay lineup. I'm not expecting a ton out of this one, but I'm hoping it does pretty well in 3v3. Probably going to be a back wall. And then for some of these other ones, these are just kind of basic lineups. This is another one, kind of just cannon fodder, but I did have pretty good success with this Commander Cody lead, Galactic Republic, and just getting some banner snipe because of the AoEs out there, putting out burns, all that kind of stuff was okay back wall team. Especially kind of at my lower level in GAC. A lot of times people don't have a ton going at the back wall. This one did get some banner sniping going on. And then this one for my Phoenix Squadron is set up more for a timeout squad for a back wall team. You're throwing in Zeb and Chopper. It's going to have a lot of protection and health recovery. Zeb's going to get some stuns. So if your opponent doesn't have a ton left, they get to the back wall. This one could be a potential timeout because of all the recovery that the Phoenix squad does there. So that's how I'm setting mine up right now. I am looking at some other ideas too. So if you guys have some suggestions, leave those down below. And then lastly, I wanted to show you guys this thing that swgoh.gg. I know it's a bit out there for the past couple months. They've done all this data on GAC counters, but I wanted to let you guys know Season 9, 3v3, all that data is there, and you can go in here and pick out the leader that you're going against, or maybe the teams that you're trying to make, and then you can go over and just click counters. It's going to give you, a lot of ideas for different makeups. So if you've got General Grievous, you're wanting to kind of get an idea of different General Grievous team makeups, you can go down through here. There's a lot of different setups with General Grievous. And then also over here, if you're going to counter one of these, then you can see the teams that have done the best against this. So this is a huge amount of data and ideas that are just waiting out there for you to kind of come look and see. So we were talking about Night Sisters earlier. There's loads of different Night Sisters makeups, and then there's a lot of different potential counters for them as well. So there's just a ton of data here for you to get your hands on. A lot of these ones that have a lot of potential different lineups. Like you think of Vassalashawn, there's a lot of different ones that you can throw out there Jedi-wise. There's a lot of different Karth counters out there as well to kind of go through. So there's just a lot of different things here like Darth Revan here. There's a lot of different potential lineups with Darth Revan. And we're also just getting a lot of ideas for solid counters against them. And then it also gives you win percentages as well, so you can kind of get an idea of, if you're taking that counter in, how well you're going to be able to do against that team, especially when you're going to get stuff that has potentially kind of level power levels, that kind of thing. So anyway, definitely make sure to check this out. I will leave a link down below. I think this is one of the biggest opportunities to come up with ideas. Tons and tons of data out there for data nerds like myself to kind of get an idea of what to use against these teams. So I will leave a link down below. Make sure you check that out. Hopefully it gives you a lot of good ideas and then a lot of counters for when you're going in against these teams in the future. So that is going to be it for today. Hopefully this was helpful. If you've got some questions, leave those down below. And then also be sure to leave some comments of some good 3v3 teams out there as well. I don't have any GLs. And unfortunately, with the new GLs, the swgoh.gg is not going to have data on them for counters yet, but hopefully that'll be something that we'll have in there pretty soon. Maybe after the first round, they'll add that in, so we'll have some ideas of countering those new GLs. And you know, for all you guys who have GLs, good luck in this next Grand Arena. I know that 3v3 GLs is just insanely tough. I'm really kind of not looking forward to when I get to that point. Even though I'll be excited to have GLs in 3v3, some of them just seem to be insane to go after. But that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the content, and I will see you guys in the next one.